After spending 2 months in Colorado, we've headed north to Wyoming. Wyoming is the first major destination we visited in our van back in 2019, and we're so excited to be back for a few adventures in some new areas. And we're beginning our time here in the town of Pinedale.
Pinedale is located in the western part of the state and is said to be the real Wyoming. Surrounded by 3 mountain ranges, including the Wind River Range, it's a town known for its endless outdoor recreation, views, lakes and rivers, fur trapping history, authenticity, western vibes, and small town charm.
And over the next couple days, we're going to begin our exploration of this area by learning some of its history, getting out in nature, seeing incredible scenery, and experiencing authentic cowboy cooking.
During this trip to Wyoming, we're not focusing on the national parks, which we did on our last visit, and instead focusing on some spots that are slightly more off the beaten path and places that Kona can also go.
And for our first adventure in the area, we are hiking the Sacred Rim Trail. It's 4.2 miles with 636 feet of elevation gain. We read that the first part of the trail is a little bit through the woods, not super scenic, but once we get to the end point should be incredible.
So the hike to Sacred Rim starts on the Pole Creek Trail, and then shortly after you start, you turn off to the left, but it's not marked. So we highly recommend using the All Trails app because it's easy to see where you need to go on there, but otherwise you really wouldn't know that this trail is here. Wow.
Dang. Our prediction at the beginning of the hike, all the research, all the photos, they're real. It lives up to the hype. It is gorgeous up here.
There are just so many crazy mountains behind us. There's all these lakes below. It is so beautiful. As you can probably tell, it's really, really smoky. There's a lot of wildfires happening out west, and I think the smoke is from a bunch of fires in Idaho. So it's kind of a bummer because it's just not very clear looking, but it does give the mountains this gorgeous layered look. So
kind of an extra mystique to them.
So we're gonna go with that. Yeah. But it is still
absolutely gorgeous. There's like at least
beautiful.
4 lakes you can count, and it's so cool up here.
We are loving this part of Wyoming so far. Yeah. We've never been to the Pinedale area, and we're definitely gonna come back on a clear day in the future to do this hike again, but we are just so pumped to be here. We're getting attacked by mosquitoes. Bring bug spray if you come here in July. We just drove about 30 minutes from the trailhead to the town of Pinedale, which is a super cool small town. It has this western vibe and it just feels really authentic and laid back and just not overly touristy.
And we read that in 1912, when the town was incorporated, it was the furthest away incorporated town from a railroad, and even today it's still one of the most isolated towns in the nation.
Well, our microphone stopped working for a bit, but we made a quick caffeine stop at Pine Coffee Supply, which is a coffee roaster located right in downtown Pinedale. As we have traveled across the U.S., finding high-quality roasters in small towns is always such an awesome surprise, and this spot stacks up to any big city shop we have been to. The inside of the shop is super nice, has a trendy vibe, and even a small store inside, with coffee for sale, some merch, and other items. And the caramel latte and the cold brew we got were both super delicious.
A huge part of Pinedale's history revolves around fur trapping and trading. In the early 1800s, the Rocky Mountain fur trade brought trappers and traders to the Green River Valley, which became the center of the mountain fur trapping industry due to the abundance of beaver, which was highly sought after, and other wildlife.
This era created young, adventurous mountain men who lived year-round in the wilderness, open trade with the western Native American tribes, and was an important stepping stone in the westward expansion of the United States. We just visited a museum in town called the Museum of the Mountain Man. It was $10 per person, and it shares more of the history of these fur trappers and traders. And I really don't even know where to start, but I guess some of my highlights were you got to see one of the more famous fur trappers. His name was Jim Bridger. You got to see his actual rifle from like 1853, I think. And then there was, if you've ever seen the movie called The Revenant, where Hugh Glass, where the guy that got attacked by a bear, there's a big giant diorama of him with the bear like going at him. It was really cool to see.
And some of my favorite things in the museum was the lean-to that the fur trapper slept under at night, and you also got to learn more about how they traded with Native Americans as well as with other traders for things like tobacco, coffee, beads, and cloth. We also got to learn more about the Native Americans in the area and even see an exact replica of an Oglala Sioux bison hide teepee. It was so cool.
Massive.
Another great way to experience this history is to attend the Green River Rendezvous, which is an annual event in July that celebrates historic explorers as well as the fur trappers.
The event started in 1833 as a way for trappers and traders to meet, exchange wares, and tell tall tales, and is now a large 4-day celebration. We unfortunately missed this event by just a few days, but if you're in town the second weekend of July, it looks like an amazing opportunity to learn even more about these mountain men. All right, after a long drive, we have finally made it to one of the #1 spots we wanted to visit here in Wyoming, Green River Lakes. And when we punched in the directions from Pinedale, it said it was going to take about an hour and a half to get here. And as you may or may not know, we drive really slow on these rough and bumpy roads. It wasn't even that bumpy, but we just like to take it slow, and it took us over 2.5 hours.
So Green River Lakes is one of the most iconic sites in this part of Wyoming, and it's known for having this beautiful lake with the backdrop of Square Top Mountain, which we're not really sure if you can actually see it right now because there's just unfortunately so much wildfire smoke and mosquitoes everywhere. But this mountain's unlike all the others in the area because, as the name implies, it has a square top.
Green River Lakes is actually the headwaters for the Green River, which is the main chief tributary to the Colorado River, which basically what that means is the Colorado River originates from the snowmelt in these mountains right around here.
We're going to explore more of the lake tomorrow, but for the rest of the night, we're just gonna camp in the area. There is a paid campground right by the lake, but there's also a ton of just free dispersed camping along the river. So we're gonna hopefully go find ourselves a nice spot with a view.
Found ourselves a pretty sweet campsite right here on the river. Got mountain views over there. We're just barely away from the lake over there, and tomorrow we are going to kayak on Green River Lakes. We're on the water, we made it.
And we're off. I don't know if you can tell, but there are some trees right here, and that's where we're gonna try to go.
We're almost to the trees that we wanted to get to, and there's another lake on the other side of them, and on the map you can see a little waterway that takes you there. We thought maybe to try to go through that, but we're not really seeing where it is right now. Maybe we'll see it when we get closer, but we might just get on land, scope it out a little bit, maybe do a little portage or carry the boat to the other lake. We'll see when we get there. We scoped out the little channel here to see if we could keep going. It looks like it'd be deep enough and safe enough to go, but the water is kind of rushing through it pretty quickly. We're kind of running out of time, so we don't think we can make it all the way. And it's a pretty far way back there. It's probably about a third of this lake that we just kayaked. So I think we're gonna scope out this area a little bit, enjoy the views, and then head back.
And now for the 1.5 hour, or in our case, 2.5 hour drive back to Pinedale for a very unique and fun dining experience.
Tonight we are doing something we are so excited about. We are going to a Pitchfork Fondue. A Pitchfork Fondue is a unique Western outdoor cookout where they cook meat on the tines of a pitchfork. They dip it in a cauldron of hot oil that's heated by a wood fire.
So the Pitchfork Fondue here in Pinedale actually started in Jackson, Wyoming in the 90s, but they moved to Pinedale in 2000, and in 2015 they got new owners whose families were some of the original homesteaders in the area. So despite the new ownership, they're still whipping up the traditional meals and some new additions. We've been talking with the owner, Matt, for a while now, and we already love this place, and we haven't even tried the food yet, but Matt is so nice, and he was telling us about the history of Pinedale, his family's history in Pinedale, as well as kind of just the philosophy here, and especially here, just to kind of take life slow and slow down a bit, which we love. And as we've said, this area of Wyoming is said to be like the real Wyoming, and what we've loved about it here is it just feels like a different pace of life than going to like the crazy busy national parks. And he was telling us about some of the natural, beautiful mountainous areas that we'll be exploring here, and just how, you know, last year things got really busy in this area, and just to treat places around here with respect, because it's definitely a very, very special place. But now onto the food. So you pay $30 per person, at least for the meal that we are getting, and that includes a bunch of different things. And we are starting off first with some drinks. We got iced tea and lemonade and some homemade potato chips that they made in the big cauldron of oil.
They also start you off with some little pieces of bread here, and then what I'm excited about are these buffalo brats. Fuck yeah. Meaty, tender, flavorful. Perfect appetizer.
Look at how huge these potato chips are. And they're all like different shapes and sizes. You can just tell they're homemade. And this one has a lot of salt on it, and I love salt. Oh yeah. The perfect, just crispy, fried potato taste.
And this bread is amazing. Took a bite out of it and didn't know.
The whole container of chips is trying to fly away. That's how windy it is, even all the chips.
The feast has arrived. So from the spread up there, we grabbed a little bit of salad. We got all kinds of fruit going on here. We both got whole potatoes here that are cooked in the oil. I didn't even know about this part, but look at all these loaded fried onions. I'm gonna devour all that. And then the main star of the show here, we got the steak. You can see the whole of the pitchfork there, and we got them cooked medium. It's gonna be so dang good.
They also have all these different sauces to choose from. We got ranch, a sriracha sauce, and a curry sauce, and they are all so good. I am so excited about this. Oh. The steak has like a nice kind of crunch on the outside from being in the oil, but it looks really juicy on the inside. It's delicious. It has, like I said, this kind of nice like crunch, crisp on the outside from the oil, but it's super tender on the inside. It is just so good. It is so good.
The steak has an amazing meaty flavor. I was kind of nervous that it would kind of taste like a fried, like chicken fried steak or something like that, but it doesn't at all. It just tastes like delicious, tender, juicy beef. Loads of flavor, natural flavor, like the beefy, natural flavor. I don't know. It's
really good.
So good. Everything is so dang good. We are demolishing this, but you gotta save a little bit of room for dessert.
And for dessert, you have a choice of a brownie or a lemon bar, and obviously we had to get one of each so we could try both, and they both have powdered sugar on top, and it looks so good. Oh. I love lemon desserts. Delicious. Such a good lemon flavor, like a creaminess to it, kind of a crunchiness to it. Oh, I just like a shortbread cookie and just, I don't know, and lemon. Oh, it,
Got a little nervous there for a second when I was kind of getting into it. Felt kind of crunchy. I was gonna be, this is super dry, but it is not at all. It is very moist, very chocolatey. Powdered sugar on there just adds an extra little sweetness to there. These both have like that sheet cake like texture and kind of like, I don't know, sheet pan cake, whatever you call it. Yeah, it's like so good. I like how it's like firm, but then when you bite into it, it's got a really good bite to it. Tons of lemon. Ooh, look at like the lemon like right in there, and then the dough on the bottom. Our stomachs are hurting so bad.
so much pain.
In a good way though. You just get so much food for your money here. You start out with the chips, the sausage, and you get the steak, the potato, the fruit, the salad, the dessert. It's like almost never ending, and it's all so delicious. And I think what we like the most about it is you just kind of feel like you're in this guy's backyard and he's just cooking you food in a big giant pot of hot oil. And he'll hang out with you and talk to you, and everybody's just so nice here, and just can't recommend it enough.
It just didn't feel like touristy or cheesy or kitschy. It just had this kind of authentic like backyard barbecue cookout vibe. It was just amazing, and the best way to end part 1 of our adventures here in the Pinedale area. In our next video, we're going to be doing probably one of the we have a lot of number ones, but one of the top things we wanted to do once we hit the road again this year. We're going on a 3-day backpacking adventure in the Wind River Range.
What's it called? Green River Lakes.
Yeah.
I wanted to call it Sandy Beach. I don't know why. That has
Close.
nothing to do with it. You were just saying it's not a sandy beach,
Yeah.
so maybe that's why I thought that.
I love you.
If you ever wonder how we remember everything we have to say, it's called cheating.
Google Doc. We found ourselves a pretty sweet campsite right here on the Green River Lake.
No, this is the Green River, and that's the Green River Lake.
I keep getting them confused. Green River Lake, Green River. You have lipstick on your teeth?
Oh no, we're right here.
Yes.
True love.
Hey girl, will you be my girl?